Browns wrapped up their 3-day minicamp here in Berea, so let's do some standouts from what we saw in the 3 open practices that we had. Mary Kay, who stood out to you over these 3 days?
You know, I think we need to give Donovan Peoples-Jones a little love for this mini camp. He was amazing. He caught everything that came his way. He was making great catches in the back of the end zone. He had the field awareness to get his both feet in bounds, and he was just really, really good. I talked to wide receivers coach Chad O'Shea about him today, and he raved about the camp and the offseason that DPJ has had.
Yeah, and Ashley, it's funny with DPJ, he's sort of been the, I don't want to say odd man out, but obviously when you start to look at who's going to play where, what Elijah Moore is going to do, people sort of forget about Donovan Peoples-Jones, but he did have a good camp here this week.
Right, and with Donovan, it's not like he's the new guy anymore, right? We've talked endlessly about how this pass-catching core has been rehauled this offseason, but I think this was just another reminder for me of Donovan. It seems like we saw it last year, I think, has a natural chemistry with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson seems to like throwing him the ball. The more practices and preseason games, regular season games he has like this, I think that chemistry is only going to get stronger, and he's going to be have the potential to, even with all these new additions, become a reliable target for Deshaun Watson.
Now, Ashley, I know you liked what you saw from another receiver in that group.
I did. The other guy I thought of from that group is Elijah Moore, who I think we've seen a lot from over these last couple of weeks in OTA and in these mini camp practices. I mean, I think you see his speed, and it's not just that he's fast, he also has football speed. They were playing him in the slot. We did see that. And again, he just seems like a guy who is making the catches whenever you looked at him, not really having dropped passes. And I think so far we've seen him bring what everyone expects him to bring to this offense.
Yeah, Mary Kay, I mean, just the way they can line him up, all the things he can do. It's become like a social media trend. We want to see Deshaun Watson throw to Elijah Moore. He has certainly been a headline grabber.
Yeah, he really has. And the play of Elijah Moore and DPJ and some of these other guys in this camp and throughout this offseason have made it so that DeAndre Hopkins is probably not coming here. It's very, very unlikely. It would be a tremendous long shot at this point. And Elijah is certainly a big reason why we've seen him do so many things out here. We've seen him make cool catches. He had a nice one-handed grab today. I just missed it down there in the end zone in red zone drills. But he's been great. His skill set is such that he can do anything, every level of the field. He can track the ball, and we've seen him line up in some interesting ways this camp. We don't want to give away the keys to the castle, but he's been tremendous.
And I'll just point out Zadarius Smith on the defensive side, and not just Zadarius, but sort of the way that they're using those defensive linemen. And we saw it again today towards the end of practice. Zadarius Smith lining up inside. So you put him next to Dalvin Tomlinson. You have Obo Okoronkwo on one end, Myles Garrett on another. Mary Kay, this is just Jim Schwartz with all of his chess pieces, moving them around and really chaos is the word with Jim Schwartz, and Zadarius Smith being inside on that defensive line is one of the ways he'll try to cause chaos.
Absolutely 100%. And what it does, it enables you to get your best football players, your best defensive linemen on the field at the same time. When do you really ever want to have Myles or Zadarius over there on the sideline? You really don't. You want both of them out there as often as they can be, wreaking havoc on those quarterbacks. So in this way, you get Obo out there, you get Z, you get Myles, you get Dalvin, and they will rotate in a lot, but that's a pretty formidable group.
Yeah, Ashley, it's almost like a basketball team. How do you get your 5 best guys on the field? Well, how do you get your 4 best guys on the field on that defensive line?
It really is. I asked Dalvin Tomlinson about this yesterday, this rotation, the unique lineups they can put out there. I asked defensive line coach Ben Bloom about it today, and Dalvin, I think, said it best. It's like the sky is the limit with the personnel that they've brought in, and especially Dalvin, obviously very familiar with Zadarius Smith. They played together in Minnesota last year. He knows what kind of damage he can do as an interior rusher. He's played alongside that. So I do think, especially knowing like the front of this defense, the way it struggled last year, both in stopping the run and getting sack production outside of Myles Garrett's 16 last year, it's huge. This rehaul is huge, and you can see it already. You can see the makings of it in motion.
All right, minicamp is over. Our next stop is the Greenbrier in West Virginia for the start of training camp. But still, there's plenty of Browns news to happen between now and then. We will cover everything at cleveland.com/Browns.